What's up, guys? We're here at the Cheeseboy channel, and I have been doing the comic book thing for like collecting. I am 40 something years old, and I've been collecting since I was like 10 or 12, and owned two shops. And so over that period of time, I've come across a lot of kind of cool, unique things, and I figured I'd just kind of share some of the awesome stuff that I've picked up throughout the time period. Some of this is like personal to me, so it may not mean anything to you, but some of it is just pretty darn cool. So go on this journey with me, my friends, and let's see what kind of cool stuff we've got. So probably one of the coolest things I've picked up recently is we went to a convention and it was bad. It was slow. I mean, it wasn't horrible, but it was poorly marketed. And so there was probably more exhibitors than there were people walking around. But in that, we happened to be boothed next to Bob Camp. Bob Camp from Ren and Stimpy fame, creator, artist of Ren and Stimpy, and it was a hoot because I spent most of the convention just hanging out talking to him, and he's lactose intolerant, so there was just a plethora of fart jokes. It was just amazing. Cheeseboy, lactose intolerant, nothing but gas. What do you expect from the creator of Ren and Stimpy? But I asked him, and he drew us up a really, really cool little picture before the convention was over. Like I said, it was pretty slow, so he didn't have anything else to do. But I thought this was just absolutely amazing. So I have now had two comic book stores. One was from like 2000 to 2005, and one was from like 2012 to 2018. But the first one that I did, we happened to get hooked up with some. We were running magic tournaments, but we happened to get hooked up with some of the magic artists that had come into town, and we had some signings and stuff actually at the store. I don't know if any of the old timers remember meeting, but in that we had Ben Thompson, Rob Alexander, and Randy Galagos. It was like two different appearances, two different times. So where they came in, but fantastic guys, just fantastic artists, but also just super cool guys, and so they drew up a little bit of stuff for me. For Ben Thompson, I actually had bought one of his I'm always a goblin guy, so I had bought one of his like goblin one of his like original sketches, one of his sketches, pre-art sketches. So it was the sketch that he does before he paints it. And so I thought this was super cool. I had to pick this up. Rob Alexander was another one of the guys who was down there. Fantastic guy, and you know he's one of the premier artists in Magic, and he we were kind of talking about like visual scapes, and he drew up the coolest like Cheeseboy moon surface kind of thing, and then so this was just absolutely like one of the coolest things I've got in my collection. Figured you guys enjoy this. And then Randy Gallagher was down there, and he was also an amazing guy. I actually ran into him a few years later at San Diego Comic-Con, and he remembered me, and that always makes you feel like a star when a celebrity, even if it's in a nerd culture, remembers who you are. So it was like, oh my God. But one of the great cards he did was Hungry Heifer from the early unsets, and so he had the original sketch art of that, and then he modified it so that it's eating cheese, and that just was like, whoa! It was just the coolest thing ever. I peed a little. I peed a little. It was so cool. Also, in my first store, I had a guy who had done a little bit of work on movie sets and stuff like that. And so I don't know if how he got this, if he was involved in this movie at all or anything, but he had brought me a sealed copy of the script from Army of Darkness. Evil Dead. It was Evil Dead 3 Army of Darkness is how it's scripted. But I just thought this was like something that was super cool. I don't know. I've never looked up the value. Maybe there's 5,000 of them up on eBay, but I just, to me, this was just personally, this was like, boop, got to keep this. Maybe someday I'll meet Mr. Campbell and have him sign it. And that would be the only way to make this any better. But I thought this was really awesome as well. I did have the fortune of going to the San Diego Comic Con International, 20 years in a row. I got messed up and I didn't get to go to the 21st, but whatever. 20 years in a row, fantastic run. But at one of those, at San Diego Comic Con, you always meet great people. I met Jay and Silent Bob, Kevin Smith, and just a ton of like cool artists, cool celebrities, just some walking around, some signing at booths, Stan Lee and Todd McFarlane, Jim Lee, stuff like that. But I met Gendy Tartakovsky, the guy who does Dexter's Laboratory, does Samurai Jack, stuff like that. And I had him sketch me up Dial M for Monkey. Could just always just I thought, what a cool character that is. And he was down there, and he was just such a great guy, and he was just happy to like draw little sketches and stuff. And so I thought this was just one of those cool things. Never ever get rid of. It was just like a whoa kind of moment. Also at San Diego Comic Con, I got introduced to Chris Grimley, who was somebody I didn't really know, but he kind of draws scary versions of kids' stories, and then he writes some of his own stories. But I was picking up one of his books and I asked him to sign it, and he saw that it was like Cheeseboy Comics, and he was like, "Oh, hey, let me do a little sketch." And so inside the book, where he's got like pages of like monsters and stuff, he drew a cheese monster in the book, so it almost looks like it is part of the book. I don't think if I died and somebody picked up this book and they were going through, they would just think it was part of the book. But it's just something super special and unique to me. And there was like a cheese monster that he just came up top of his head, and it was just like in super awe. Man, going to like the Comic Cons, the people there are just always fantastic. I've never really run into anybody who was like a total sourpuss, but like this was like the coolest book. Great artist, great writer, and this is the coolest sketch. One of my other cool Comic Con just weird luck out kind of things is Max Brooks, who is the writer of World War Z, and he's done a bunch of comics and stuff now. But he was it was World War Z was just getting signed into a movie and that kind of stuff, and so he was supposed to be down there on like a Saturday and just a Saturday, and then Sunday I was kind of walking around the convention, and turns out that he was back at the booth where he was signing, because his plane didn't take off till like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. He was like, I don't want to be bored, so let's go back to the con and keep signing stuff. But nobody knew he was there, at that point. So there was no line because I mean they had really publicized that he was going to be there on all day Saturday, Max Brook, blah blah blah, and so there was nobody there. And I walked over and I got to talk to him a little bit and just like quick chit chat. I picked up a new copy of World War Z. I had him sign it, and it was just what an amazing guy he is as well. That was just luck of the draw because I'd love to meet him, but I don't know if I would stand in like a 2-hour line to meet him. But when you're like the only person there, and he's just like, "Hey, you want me to sign that?" And I was like, "Wow!" Super cool, super duper cool. And I also have a couple just kind of cool signed like CGC, not CGC, they're actually PGX, which isn't the best, but whatever. Books. I've got a Spider-Man that's signed by Stan Lee that a buddy had brought into the store for me, and the same guy had brought in a book that was signed by a Daredevil book signed by Frank Miller, which is another huge name, and then it's got like a little Batman sketch, which is to me was like super cool and unique because it was a Daredevil book with a Batman sketch, and you probably don't see stuff like that very often. So I thought these were just both awesome, and total thanks to my buddy who picked these up for me. And here's one of those ones, like those personal ones that I thought was just so awesome because it's just a personal thing. Really, to me and the store, we had a great local artist, James Stone, who was in there just sketching one day, and he was drawing up a guy for like a comic thing. He was calling Shark Puncher, and there's this guy who's had tattoos of sharks on his arms, and then when he got mad his arms turned into sharks, and I was like, that is the most ridiculously awesome thing in the whole world. And after we chit chatted for a while, I was like, if this becomes a comic, I have it all over the store. I'm going to be pushing this so hard because this is such a goofy idea, and you know me, I love goofy stuff. So through our conversation, he has then now altered the shark puncher into my face, so I am the shark puncher. And then we made up little posters of it. The comic actually, unfortunately, never really came into fruition, but still, what an honor to be part of that and to be the shark puncher. So he actually made up about 4 different shark puncher posters. This was my favorite. I think this one's the one that looks the most like me. So I framed this up, have it on my wall. We had it up at the store for a long time. But thank you, James. This was amazing. And super sentimental, just silliness that I love to show off because I just think this is the coolest thing. We had a D&D group who used to come and play for literally for years. The second store, Tuesday night was like D&D night, and they would come in every Tuesday night, and we would stay open late, and they would do D&D. I would start processing the comics for Wednesday, but then when the store was getting ready to close down, they actually had a figure made of me, and it was me as a superhero with a comic book in one hand and a pizza in the other. And the pizza's kind of a joke because Cheeseboy, and also we had a pizza place that was right next door that whenever they messed up with pizza, they always come over and be like, "Hey, pizza for a couple bucks because we messed up on it." And so almost every Tuesday they had pizza. But man, this is one of those things that just gonna make me cry. It just meant so much that they cared enough to have a figure made of me. What an awesome group of guys. And we just had some cool comic artists who appreciate or recognized the store, appreciated the store. So here's just a quick little run through of some stuff that we had that was signed to like to Cheeseboy, just because artists are awesome, and we love you, and I think it's one of those things. They help promote us, we help promote them, but just a great bunch of guys. And then one last final close on Goofiness. Another one of those things somebody had made for me. We had a picture of us leaving the last day, and the sign had already been taken down. The store had already been all closed up, and I had a little group of guys helping me doing like the last minute cleanup and close up. And somebody had taken a picture and then made it into a coffee cup. And oh man, another one of those ones like the if I ever wanted just like the feels of the store, have some coffee in my Cheeseboy coffee cup, and remember the good old times. But thank you guys, everybody who was part of the store. Even if you were a customer, you came in just once, you enjoyed our videos, you played Magic with us, anything, and you guys meant a lot. I hope you enjoyed looking at some of the cool, goofy stuff that I've picked up over the years. I know I've got a ton of other stuff, but that's just kind of some of the things that like really stand out to me as like personal favorites. And then I also have my shirt that I wore at the first convention, that the second time we opened the store. So I had to wear that for the love. Thank you guys. Like and share and tell me what you guys want to see, and I'll keep making videos probably even if you guys don't want to watch them. But I'm having a ton of fun. I hope you're having fun with me, and I will see you next time